Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be ranking all 4 seasons of Ozark. So Ozark recently came to an end on the 29th of April, and I've reviewed all 4 seasons. You can check those out first if you want to. But here I'm going to be ranking each and every season. And please note that I'm going to include both parts of season 4 as a single season, because that's what they are. They're part of the same season. And of course, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so you've been warned. So coming in at number 4 is going to be season 1. Now, just because the season is low on the list doesn't mean it's bad or mediocre. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But it's just the beginning of the show. You know, it hadn't fully forged its own identity yet. There were some noticeable similarities to Breaking Bad in particular, but it still had a lot of great things going for it to keep you engaged. From its premise of money laundering, its setting in the Ozarks, its visual style, its tone, its characters and themes. Plus it has rewatch value just to see where everything started, and since it's a little smaller in scale compared to what followed. And the finale culminated in the shocking death of Dal at the hands of Darlene. So yeah, it's a great first season, a great introduction to the world and the characters of Ozark, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So coming in at number 3 is gonna be season 2. Now, I know a lot of people argue that season 2 just isn't as good or as fresh as season 1. And I can understand why. But for me personally, I prefer this season over season 1, mainly due to the character development. Specifically when it comes to the Langmores, Jonah and Charlotte, Buddy, and even the Snells. Let's not forget the introduction to Helen, who arrives in the Ozarks on behalf of the cartel. Ruth's father, Cade Langmore, had a more prominent role now that he was out of jail. Plus, it was interesting to see Marty and Wendy go to the lengths that they did in order to open up a casino for the money laundering. Plus, there were even more shocking and more gruesome deaths, specifically the deaths of Jacob, Roy, and Cade, which is the one I think we were all looking forward to the most. And the finale set things up perfectly for season 3. Yes, there were still some noticeable similarities to Breaking Bad yet again, but putting all of that aside, it's such an excellent follow-up to what came before it. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So, we're already at my top 2. We have season 3 and we have season 4. Both of these seasons are excellent, but if you've been watching my reviews, I guess you can tell which one is going to be my number 1 and which one is going to be my number 2. So, with that being said, my number 2 is going to be season 4. Now don't get me wrong, this season was incredible. We were introduced to Omar Navarro's nephew, Javi, his sister, Camila, and Claire Shaw, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company that gets caught up in everything. Rachel's return was a huge surprise. The season opened with a flash forward to the car crash in the finale, the deaths of Frank, Wyatt and Darlene, Javi, who killed Wyatt and Darlene, and of course Omar were effective, and there were good send-offs for characters like Sam. But that last episode was the one issue I and quite a few other people had with it. Everything in the finale was great until we got to the last 15 to 20 minutes. That aspect of the finale was very, very polarizing. If you want my full thoughts on it, you can just go watch my review. About half of that video covered the ending. Basically, I don't like the fact that Camila ended up killing Ruth when she should have survived the entire show, and you know, I get that the one surviving member of the Langmore family is 3, but 3 was more of a background character, so it just doesn't have that full impact as intended. And of course, Mal finding Ben's ashes and threatening to use it as evidence against Marty and Wendy, only for Jonah to show up with a shotgun, pull the trigger, and then it just cuts to black, leaving so many questions unanswered. Some people have defended this ending, and that's fine. I'm glad you like it, but I just don't. Or maybe I will over time, who knows. It just felt like a botched mixture of Breaking Bad and Sopranos in all the wrong ways. But yeah, other than that, I thought this season was incredible. The ending may not have been great, but the journey leading up to it was fantastic. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. But of course, my number one pick is obviously Season 3. This season changed the show for the better. We saw the Bud family running the casino. The visual style was more vibrant and colorful from this point onwards. Since a lot of side characters had either disappeared or were killed off in the previous seasons, they brought in some new ones like the FBI agent Maya, Frank Jr., the son of Frank Sr., who was introduced in Season 2, the marriage counselor that Marty and Wendy visit from time to time, Wendy's sister Ben, who is arguably one of the best characters in the entire show. Just everything about him, from his bipolar disorder to his relationship with Wendy, the time he spends bonding with Jonah, and his relationship with Ruth. And of course, we got to see the man himself, Omar Navarro, in the flesh. And let's not forget the romance between Wyatt and Darlene despite their age difference. And of course, this is when the show started to forge its own identity and shift away from a lot of familiar tropes of serialized TV dramas. You had two of the most iconic deaths in the entire show, with the first one being Ben's, which was very tragic, and people had been speculating that he was actually alive somehow. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He was in fact killed off. At first I didn't like that, but given how Season 4 played out, maybe it made sense to go that route. And of course, Helen got shot in the head right at the end of the finale. And the finale itself, leading up to that, there was a lot of tension, so yeah. This season, overall, it was the only perfect season of the show. It was flawless, so I have to give it a 10 out of 10, obviously. So yeah, that was my ranking of all 4 seasons of Ozark. I kept this one very simple because I don't want to get into every spoiler possible. I've been kind of burnt out lately with the number of videos I've been putting out recently, and you can just watch my reviews for a bit more context without any major spoilers, of course, because I really do want you to watch this show if you haven't already. So next time I'm going to be ranking all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. That video is going to take a while to make, but I'm sure you guys are curious as to how I would rank all of the seasons. So yeah, look forward to that soon, and thank you all for watching, guys. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe. Hit the notification icon. Be safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.